Okay, we start our class today. So, topic today is product planning and design. Product planning and design. So, this one we have two topics actually to complete this one: product planning design and process planning design. So, it's two different things. So this time, this part, we will focus on the product, product planning and product design itself. So product design last time I already explained during the computer integrated manufacturing topics. So I will touch again a little bit for product design later at the end of this class. But we focus more on the product planning, product planning. And then hopefully at the end of this class, you will be able to understand how the product planning, product life cycle, and product development, introduction stage, growing stage, maturity stage, and then lastly decline stage. So okay, we go for introduction. So in the first class and the introduction for the manufacturing engineering, I share with you about the making things. So everything's are manufactured nowadays. So all those things can benefit to us. Without that thing, we cannot live. We cannot get benefit on that. So Michelle Hammer quote: "The mission of business is to create value for its customer." So in the first class also, in the beginning, I said that in the manufacturing system, we need to create a value for our raw material, is it? So we have raw material, we run into the several process in the manufacturing system, and then in that process, we have adding value for the raw material. We have to apply labor, we apply electricity, power, toolings on the machining side. So the adding value for this raw material, we change that raw material to the products. So the product from the certain cost, when we add certain value, and then the product when we get the product, so the increasing on the value of product itself. So create value for the customer to better life to use in their product. And then product planning concern to the all decision about the introduction of this product for the we create the new product, and then we change the existing product, and then we decide whether we need to withdraw the old product from the market or we replace with another one. So that is a product planning. So we need to carefully on that, because nowadays we have a lot of choice for the product. So when industry plan some product, they need to have a proper planning for their concern in the making decision on that things, and that things. All right. Okay. The aim is to make sure the organization has steady supply of product to customer. They want to based on demand. So if they're not ready, maybe they lose, cannot supply, and then they cannot sustain in the market, so we cannot gain the profit. So they make sure the company ready to the new product, or ready to withdraw the old product from the market. So that is the aim of this planning, production planning. And then it's possible to separate design of the product and then the process to make it. So like I said just now, we have planning, and then later on another part is the process, planning and design. So we cannot separate on the design and the process, because when we design something, we need to fabricate, or we need to make it. So we need to plan on both sides. Okay, we focus on the product process, product focus and the product process in the product planning. So product life cycle, when you see this chart, we have started from development, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline, and then lastly withdraw. Like I said just now, decision making on when we need to enter the market. For example, when we find something on demand or need by customer, we need to plan on development, and then we need to decide whether we need to launching the product, we need to withdraw. That is the decision making on the product life cycle itself. So based on this graph, you can see the volume of the sale, this exists, and then the time, by the time. So we need to decide whether to change the new product or to keep the product in the market. Okay, product life cycle, they consist of, like I said just now, development. Development is the we need R&D, research and development, prototype, testing, everything before we can introduce that product to the customer, and then we launch the product based on customer need. So in that time, customer learn about the product, because we just introduce, they see and they feel. If they like it, they can buy it. So that is the introduction. And then growth, the customer increasing, they know from each friend, from their family, their another competitor. So they growing the market, the demand increase quickly. And then the maturity process, most potential customer already knows about that. They keep buying, consistently use the product. And then lastly, decline, because the buyer, they have another choice, the cheaper product, the alternative, and then withdraw from the market, because in this case, that company need to find a new product alternative and then cycle back to the development. Okay, so this similar chart, like just now, just simplified service offer in all stage, introduction stage, growth stage, maturity, and retirement or decline. So we have the service offer in this introduction, like this one, growth, maturity, and retirement. So all these services are related to the activities inside introduction, inside development, inside growing, customer keep buying, and maturity increasing on the buyers, and then when decline, they have another service for support. For here, they focus on the re-engineering and maintenance to create brand new of the product. Okay. So introduction stage, we go one by one for the product life cycle just now. So at the introduction stage, this is the most important stage. Every company, or if they want to involve the new product, they need to invest some money on the R&D to develop a new product, to test a new product, to develop the prototype. So this stage of the cycle could be the most expensive one, because when they involve R&D, they cannot sell that product. They just invest to develop the prototyping product, testing, destroy, and then reboot again. So that is consists a lot of money, most expensive of product for a company launching a new product. So if they don't do that, they cannot manage to produce the good product, the quality product to the customer. And then the size of the market for the product is small. In this stage also very small because they cannot use the economy of scale, cannot produce a lot. For example, they just after prototyping, they just make 2 or 3 using hand making, using a manual process. So of course the cost is very expensive because they're not launching the automation system yet. They're not produced in bulk, not produced in the bulk, not produced in a lot of quantity. So that's why the cost over quantity is very high. So when the small production and then the small market, so the cost increasing. So this one need a lot and to reduce the cost, to think about the process, to modify the process itself, to make automation, to make better process planning. So introduction stage is very costly stage. So then after we have introduced the product and then the customer already knows the product, they will go for the growing stage. Because when in the introduction stage, they buy, they just try, and they buy, they just try, and then they feel it's the product very helpful to them, and then they will introduce to another customer, they will introduce to another friends, they will introduce to other parents, and then they can share using of the product, they share of the benefit of using the product. In the growth stage is the typical characterized by strong growth in the sales and profit. So in this time, they can make sale and profit better because of the economy of scale. I said just now in the introduction, they don't have this one, economy of scale. But in the growing stage, they focus on the producing a lot of product because demand already there. Demand already there. They just try to automate, make the automation in the process to reduce the cost. So, for example, in the to produce something before they take 6 or a day, but now in the growing stage they already think about using the automation system, and then they try to shorten the time of the process. So before a day taken, so now they reduce maybe a couple minutes, a couple hours. So the product can produce a lot within during the shift hour, during a day workings. So the price, when you learn about the production capacity last time, the manufacturing lead time. So when manufacturing lead time shorter, you can increase the profit, because you produce a lot of part within the shorter time, and then so the profit will increase, overall amount profit will be increased. Then company start recover or can cover the cost from the introduction growth they invest before, because when they invest in the introduction, they invest for R&D, for testing, for quality satisfaction. So they need to recover back on this stage, this growing stage. And then they go for the maturity stage. During this maturity stage, the product is established, and the aim for the manufacturer is now to maintain the market share. So they maintain the product in the market. So when the people keep buying their product, they try to make good advertisements in the social media, in the papers, in the networking. So they just want to make sure they can sustain in the market and give the service, good service for their product, because they know their product already there, and then they need to increase also the buyer, and then this is probably the most competitive time for the most product, and the business need to invest wisely in the market they are undertake. So in this case, they just like plan to sustain and to have more profit, to increase their profit margins. So that is a maturity stage before they go for decline stage. In decline stage, eventually the market for the product will start to shrink. This is normal for product life cycle. When we come to this stage, the buyers, the users have another choice. The market become saturated already. Customer will buy another product. The customer already have product, so they can use, for example, our product can last for 3 or 7 years. So they already have the product. They don't need to buy anymore. Unless in the maturity or growth stage, we can introduce new versions, a new model, so the customer can change to the new version or new model without the product still can use, but they just change it because of the design, because their appearance, their functionality. So that is how the product or the company sustain before decline stage. So in this decline stage, actually they have another option to buy, to switch to the different type of product. They switch to different provider. They said that they will make a comparison. Actually, they will make a comparison in terms of design, in terms of cost, in terms of functionality, and then maintenance as well. So in the decline stage, actually, company need to already think about the new development. Like I said just now, before they decline, withdraw from the market the old product, they need to think the alternative, how to replace with the new product, to replace that one with the new product. So this is a decline stage, and then we go for the example product life cycle. So this one is a 3D television. So maybe this type of 3D television is new, and then just call it as a introduction stage. They have a few decades ago, they have developed design, they will make investment. So after the consideration of investment from the broadcaster and then technology company, so these 3D TVs already available at the home. Before that, maybe we can see in the cinema, in the showcase, so they can see. So in this type 3D television, we can feel like virtual, like VR, virtual reality. So we can see at home and then give a good environment. So later on, maybe this one become cheaper, become norm, so we can buy this 3D television. So this provide a good example for the introduction stage of the 3D televisions. And then Blu-ray players, Blu-ray players like DVD actually, but nowadays they have like what we call it, online television, online movies, online things. So we just go for the smart television, and then they store on the cloud. So with advanced technology, we deliver a best viewing experience. So best viewing experience that we use 4K, ultra. So before that, maybe on the streaming using internet, we have lower, have a faster speed on the internet. So we always have buffering. So in that time, the viewing experience is not good. So nowadays, we can see a good example of these advanced technologies. And then Blu-ray equipment is currently enjoying the steady stage already. So the steady stage after they pass the growing stage. And then one more example is DVD players. DVD players introduced to us many years ago. Many years ago. So I believe you all maybe using in this one or knows DVD players before you use these Blu-ray players. So the manufacturer that make DVD and equipment need to play them by the players. So they have established a strong market shares. So before this DVD player is very good and very huge people using in the market. But however, they still have to deal with the challenge from the new technologies. So they now at the maturity stage, and then slowly go for the decline, or maybe need to withdraw, like cassette tape, like this. This one maybe you not know, you don't know this sample of part, but this one cassette player we use to play a song in my time. I was young, teenagers last time in the high school. We always play this cassette player using this players, because this player they have this one to open this one, and then to put this cassette player inside this one to play song, have a radio here. And then we have this one like Cakara Padat, the big one. So in the shop, in the orchestra side, they have this one. But later they developed the Sony, they have developed the Profidis, this one. Profidis is a small 3.5 inch, 3.5 around that one. So they put inside this Sony mini disc player, so they can play. So Sony used this one for several years, and then they developed the CD and DVD, and now we use this one, smart TV, like Blu-ray players. So and then nowadays we change. We not need use this one anymore. We use this one in the home. Also, we use the handphones to play song, to see movies in YouTube online. So this is the example of the product cycle. What I can share to you during previous 2 or 3 decades ago. So similar to the phones, the example from this phone also, you can see the quite changes on the design, quite changes on the design, because rapid the battery evolution. So before that, you can see this type of phone, they have bigger, because the battery, the capacity of battery, the battery design also, they have a bigger battery. So that's why the phone also, they have a bigger type. No screen, just start, push button here, and then after several years development, they come out with this type, PHS, personal type handphone. They have this type, Motorola phone. So they have several type like Nokia. They are famous in that time. And then later they have touch screen, battery evolution. They have touch screen. They eliminate the push button here, push button. They integrate on the touch screen. So all this one come together with the development of the battery, touch screen, and then processors. They have a faster or good processor in the processing the data. So that's why they can develop the good phone nowadays. And then another example is holographic projection. So this one also recently introduced. So in the market, you can see holographic projection. So they can turn the flat surface, the flat surface into touch screen. When they project something, so you can see in the movie, the persons go to the flat screen and they touch something on that screen. So they turns that one into like a keyboard, can be a touch screen interface to the between user and the equipment. So that is a holographic projection. So maybe 2 or 3, 5 years later, this one become norms. We don't know, but now they introduced to the market with the huge investment in the research and development, because this one they need to overcome to make a better interface in the touching, to do a research, to do a testing, and then the high price that will only appeal to early adopters. This is another good example for the first stage cycle for holographic projection. So previously 3D television, so we have another one, is a holographic projection. And then tablet PC, tablet PC already in the growing number of the tablets in the market. So consumer can choose several tablets in the market. So as this product pass their growing stage in the cycle, so they have more competitor coming, introduce the tablet, and then we can choose whether this the tablet we can afford or not. We can buy or not. So and then we have another one, is a laptop. Laptop is already several or many years in the market. After the computer evolution, so they have introduced the laptop. So but now they have more advanced components, in terms of speed, processors. So they compete on that one to sustain in the market. And then typewriters. Typewriter is the already past their maturity stage, already declined, I think, in the market. So typewriters, maybe you all not knows even, but you can go for several governments departments. They're still using the old version typewriters to type using carbonized, and then because nowadays they replace all with the computers, the printers, do very fast. But when using the typewriter, they take a long time. and then limited person can use typewriter as well. So that's why this one become saturated already, and then they decline from the market. And then also limited function as well, limited function. Because when we use a computer, laptops, we can use several function on that things. But typewriter, you just focus on the type letters you want. But you cannot use for surfing internet, to see videos, TV, to play games, or whatever. So that's why the people choose another version of a product. So I just want to share with you the computers. So this one, I take Apple's computer design evolution here. So you can see here the shape or the development of the Apple computers from 76. They just introduced the Apple series computers. So I still remember in my time in this one. I born in 73 around here. So this computer already have in my time, but yeah, I just only can use the computer when I enter university, when I in Japan around this one. So we have this version. I don't know this version, 87. Yeah, this one, 87 and 95. So this one is during my studies. So so this version, I can see a lot of in the laboratory, in the lab, in the library as well. They use this type of computers to put and to share the computer, because everyone not afford to buy a personal computer like this in their home in that time. So we just sharing in campus, in libraries, in the labs. So when we want to use, we just bring this one. You can see here the slot here. This floppy disk. They have a floppy disk. We need to bring that one when we use, and we save on the floppy disk, and then we save our assignment, and then we bring back to home. And then when another day next day we come, we load again, and then we modify, we use that file again, and then we save again to that floppy disk. So that is how we use this type of computers. And then several years they try to get some improvement, and then they have a flat screen, and then they introduce a lot of in terms of the design. So in this time also they have introduced already the laptop type. Laptop type, you can see from here, desktop. They already introduced the laptop type, but the price very expensive in that time, so cannot afford to buy. Only lecturers, the office, they have given this one to use for their job, especially to bring this laptop to go to present to the company. So that is given by company. So the person cannot afford to buy until they have a computer or several what you call it, the makers. They introduce the new laptop, and then they decrease the price, so the all of us can afford to buy the laptop like nowadays. And you can see here the development of computers, and then development of the smartphone. So as you can see here, the functionality of the computers and then the phones become together here. So nowadays, tablet also can be a phone, and then phone also can be a computer. So that is how the beauty is the development in terms of customer demand. Because before you see that when we use handphone, we need to find computer to do something, to send email, to read email. But nowadays, within one phone only, we can do all the things. All those things can do in the handphone only. So, but yet the phone and then the computer still under what you call it, the growing stage. So they need to find, the company need to find the new things to develop on the phone itself to sustain in the market. For example, what you think about your phone right now? What is the lacking? What is the thing you think they need to improve? They need to give the new option or new function to the phone. So for my side of view, I think the battery itself, when we bring a phone for to see movies, when we heavily use the phones, suddenly our battery we need to bring the phone to charge, to charging station. So I think that one become what we call it, development area for several companies to introduce the what we call it, wireless charging, for example. So that one, when we use handphone, like our internet, we have signal for wireless. So why not they just charging by time? So when we see our phones, it's not, for example, 62% or 50% in the yellow colors of battery. So automatically the wireless charging will activate. Yeah, when we have internet connection, they just charge. No need to find charging station. So the company should think about that, and then the charging bill just come like our wireless bill. So that is the things they need to think when in terms of development. So I believe this one, researchers work hard on that to introduce something new to the customer, to give the alternative like touchscreen before. When the touchscreen introduced, so many bugs in that time, I believe that. So when we scroll, they have something what I call it, not smooth. So in that time they introduced touchscreen, and then the push button like still have below like this one. So this one is a BlackBerry phone. They have touchscreen, and then they have also push button here. So that is how in this stage they not rely on the only touchscreen, but they have two segment. So until they have perfection on the touchscreen, they eliminate this one, and they just use only touchscreen, like holographic projector just now. So now after they have good studies, good research on that, after introduction to the customers and stakeholder use, and then give a feedback, they will introduce to the market later on. But maybe the price in that time we don't know yet, but I think the price maybe a little bit expensive, but that is all the things, the cycle we need to go through. And then what you think for life cycle for the product? So these are several examples for the product I just list out. So you can take a minute to think this one. Take a minute to think about newspaper, for example. So everyone still read newspaper, or just use the phone to see news on the TikTok, news on the Facebook. So that is how the life cycle of the newspaper. maybe still have young generations still read the newspaper, but nowadays maybe they limit to the digital version only, no printed version anymore. So there is printed version also become phased out already, and then later on maybe digital version also no more. They replace with the using online media like Facebook, like TikTok, like Instagram. So that is how life cycle for the newspaper. And then we also have fashion. So fashion is grow very fast. So I will share with you the fashion later on. Computer game, for example. Computer game also grow rapidly, I think. Grow rapidly. Because now maybe you know about the online gaming, online game. But before, in my time, we need to go for game station. They have a machine slot there. We need to put coin to play. There is a computer game in that time. We need to pay and then to play. Now also pay, but different type of paying. Yeah, more faster. After that, they develop. Sony developed the Sega. They develop a virtual game in the room, in the house. So we have using DVD, using cloud, and now they change from there to the online gaming. So no need to buy the what you call it, the items anymore. You just sharing in the clouds, in the media social. So just play, not only in terms of their families, with their friends, but we can play now with whoever want to play. We never met them, but we can play together. That is how computer grows in rapidly in the product life cycle. And then just now we share about mobile phone. So I just put here nasi katok. So you just see there. Why I put here? Because when you see the price still $1, and then with the same qualities, same quantities. But I think with the pandemic right now, is it you think the nasi katok can sustain? Is it you think the price become RM1? So the some place I see already increased, 1.5 ringgit already. And they reduce the quantities already. So that is how life cycle of the product. But yet you need to think why they do that, why the increasing of the price, why the quantity less. So that is related to the raw materials, because when we produce nasi katok, we need rice, we need the small fish. So another ingredient. So that ingredient we need to paste. Very hard to find right now. Maybe can find, but due to the pandemic, the price become increased. So they cannot sustain anymore to produce with the RM1. So that's why the last cycle of the product become changed. And then maybe later on, the customer become have alternative to buy when the price increasing until 2 ringgit or 1.5 ringgit. They have another alternative. Why not we buy another McDonald's, for example, to replace the nasi katok? Because the price little bit similar, for example. So they have another option to choose. So when that time coming, the decline stage of nasi katok become coming. They comes to withdraw from the market because no one to buy anymore, or they have but they become a maturity state or decline state already. So that is how the and then maybe the nasi katok on a change to the new design of the product become I think another brand, a new branding of the product. We don't know, but that is how the product life cycle need to sustain in the market. They need to find another way, another alternative to make sure customer remain to buy their product. Washing machine, for example, now lot using in the growing state, I think, because a lot of people using this one. So nowadays, the Adobe station, the washing station, they introduce laundries. So maybe this one, we're not sure, but still, I think need at the moment, cars, soap, coffee. So all these things you need to take a time to think about their life cycle. Is it they can sustain? Is it we have another alternative to buy, another product to buy from others? This one. So there is the time, how long the life cycle of one product can sustain the market is very important, based on usage, use from the customer, demand from customers. So just I said just now, I will share with you about fashion. So fashion, you can see here, they have three kind of fashion. So they have introduction, growth, maturity, decline. So you can see here for the fade. Fade mean or like trend fashion, or viral one, or the boom one. So like artists, when they introduce some fashion, so they become trending right now. So in the trending, you can see in the short time, the people we buy it, we wear it, and then suddenly no more in the market. So there is they just big sale in the introduction stage only. They just coming, and then people buy, and then after that suddenly down. So no growing, no maturity, no decline. So they just instantly pop up in the market and then disappear. That is fashion for the fade, for the trend, like viral. And then sometimes this can sustain. I think they can sustain if they make something adjustment in the fashion itself to become a reasonable fashion. From here, they just modify it to be more suitable for the various market. Because this one for the fade, they just focus in terms of the market, certain people, certain trend for that particular people only. So when they change the trend to not only for certain people, but adjust to several market demand, so the fashion become grow. They become grow. You can see that here the fashion become growing, and then they have a maturity stage and then decline. But you can see here also for the basic fashion like our shirt, our trousers, for example, there is a basic one. So the basic like baju, kemeja, so that one become or what we call it, the can sustain in the longer time, because all people using that one, not only in Brunei, so for example, not only in Brunei, in the world, they use the same fashion, like kemejas. When they go to work, we need to wear the long sleeve, so that one can sustain a lot by time, and then good sale for that one. Just they have introduced a limited edition for something to based on the fashion, basic fashion itself, but they just introduce something with the limited edition for the fade or for the fashion itself. So to give alternative to the people, but the basic fashion can long last in the market until they have a decline stage. That is how the life cycle of the fashion. And then, like I said just now, when we talk about planning, So we already cover about the how the product can they have their life cycle from the introduction, growth and maturity decline, and then all this planning or the product, they need to introduce into the customer, into the development stage, and they have R&D. They need to design, and then design. They have certain process. This process we already learned. I think we already learned in our previous class. So we have to find out the need, problem definition, synthesis, analysis, evaluation, and presentation. This one, this is the normal process. We need to go for the design in terms of synthesis. For example, we need to do analysis and then synthesis again. And then when we do evaluation for the prototype, we need to do again and again until we get the real design for the product before we go for production to produce the product. So in the development stage, I said just now, we involve this one, R&D, research and development in terms of design. We invest a lot of money because we need to produce the prototype. We need to do a testing, analysis to find out the best, the quality product. So that's why in terms of development, and then in introduction also, when we produce the product after the prototype, after we produce our drawing, we produce by manual process, for example, the price also still high, still higher than we think about economy of scale production. So this is the design process. So we already go this one. So during the initial stage, we need to think about customer need. What is our stakeholder, our need? What is someone think about their product, existing product? Is it they want to change to have another function, for example? That is the need, what we need to consider. So involve the realization on to realize the problem, the something what they have in the existing one. So we need to do a corrective action to take a solution on that part. So when we think about solution, we need to give a better quality or better functionality product to them. So this is the need we need to fill. After we have that need, we need to think about the problems with the solution lah. We need to involve with the write the specification for the item we need to design. For example, when they want something, so we can ask how big, how big, the dimensions, the material using, so the characteristic, function, and the cost, quality. So that is all the become from the need become their specification. So we need to include all these physical characteristic, functionality, cost inside our specification. So this one we call it problem definition, and then we go for the synthesis. Synthesis and analysis. Synthesis, before we have several parameters or metric for that one. So we need to do the best parameter to find out. So we need to do a synthesis. And then we need to find the best concept in that case. We need to draw several concepts. And then from there, we need to find, we need to do the analysis on that concept we have. For example, we use a push metric. We use several house of quality concept. So we test on that one based on the the analysis we do, and then we optimize them. We find that one is the best, so we try to use that parameter or that. For example, when we do a specification, we have a weight, we have a dimension, we have the cost, for example, the functionality, for example. That is the parameter we have. So when we do a synthesis and analysis, we find out that the dimension slightly changed. So that is the optimization. So we test that item, that new dimension, is it we can give the better result on the testing or not. For example, we use FEA testing, finite element analysis. So we found that that dimension is good. This is a right dimension. So we call it that one optimization. So we optimize them, we change the new dimension, new weight, new characteristic, and then we improve that. We redesign that previous design based on new parameter or new metric what we gain from the synthesis, analysis, and optimization just now. So this is very important part we need to undergo for find out the best characteristic, the best specification of best concept of our product. So we after that we can get the full design, the correct design, the full assembly design, sub-assembly design after we run this one several times. And then this one for the idea generation in terms of synthesis, analysis, optimization, also problem definition. Also, we need to have to create the idea, to have a creative thinking method in terms of idea generation. So during that stage, we need to have do a brainstorming, for example, to create the idea. We have a group of people where you have in the company, you have a team. So in the team, you need to sit together to find out the best method. You need to think creatively. So in this stage, I highlight here, criticism is not allowed. So in this brainstorm stage, the members can give whatever idea they have. So the members, the teams, the person inside the group just write down the idea. So we in this stage we need to flow everything. We need to flow the idea so many as we can, and then from there we can find adjustment. Which idea is the best? By but actually we need to focus on the positive aspect of the idea. We cannot find the negative one. We focus on the positive, to write down. So in this stage, we can find out that a lot of creative idea will coming. So that is idea generation stage, creative thinking method. So it's better to have enough idea. That's why we need to just jot down the idea coming, because Edward de Bono said that they have better to have enough idea for some of them to be wrong than to be always right, to have no idea at all. That's why even we don't know that it's right or not wrong, we just take as the part of the idea. Our team members need to have a same equality to speak, to give the idea. So we cannot say your idea is wrong, your idea is not good. So just flow the idea, because no right, no wrong in this case. Just focus on the positive one. And then we have also reverse brainstorming, a different approach of brainstorming. Reverse brainstorming is sometimes we call it negative brainstorming as well. So there is reverse. So instead of they have reverse brainstorming to help you to solve a problem by combining brainstorming and reversal techniques. Reversal technique. So to use this technique, you start with the to a reverse question, like you ask the question. So maybe sometime in the group we cannot find out the creative idea. Maybe we start. So some maybe from you need to go for the reverse brainstorm. You need to ask, how do, for example, how do I solve or prevent this problem? So the question how here can bring you the new idea how to solve the problem. How could I possibly cause the problem? So there is a negative part because we think about the problem happen first, and then later on we need to relate with the solving method. So when something happen, normally we have idea how to solve it. So that's why this one called as a negative brainstorming. So instead of asking how do I achieve this result, you can ask how I possibly achieve. So how possible achieve opposite. This is how we can use the negative brainstorm to get the new way to achieve the result. And then another example you can see here, how do we improve patient satisfaction? Then the reverse problem statement is how do we make a patient more dissatisfied? So this one is very what we call it. You look like negative, but this one is good to use this one as a reverse one. So have just a few for the reverse idea. This one you can see, you can use this one to use in your group to find out the idea. For example, now you have a GDP's project, so you need to have this lot of idea to grow, to make sure your project can have some concepts, have some ideas, something to do. So you need to do a lot of brainstorming, and then brainwriting. Writing, brainstorming. So force relation, encourage to produce relationship between unrelated object of or idea and evaluate. If this were combined, what new idea would be to produce? So for example, we use Scapper. Scappers like checklist, writing, brainstorming. So in this one, in the writing, you start with the S, substitute, C, combine, A, adapt, M, modify, P, put to others use, and then E, eliminate, R, rearrange or reverse. So Scapper is a good checklist to use in the brainstorming sessions. So you can use this one. They have give example here. So for substitute, for example, what if I swap this for that and see what happened? So we can use this question to ask for swapping. So see what happened. So we can use this one as a substitute. For combine, we can use what happened when we can I combine with this material, features, process, people, product. Can I combine it? So when you think about that, you need to have to think the way how to combine. What happened when you combine? So all this one need the answers. So during that, you can come out with the idea, and then you just writing the idea based on this combine. And then one more is the adapt. So adapt is what if I were to change the characteristic of component. This one, when we change the characteristic of the component, it can adapt or not of the changing that one. So these are the answer or the situation you need to think when you changing the things inside your design. When you modify also, you need to change what happened when you do modify, and then put to others use. So also this one, you need to think about the others market. Could I use this product in? For example, when you put inside, you think about the market section, and then eliminate what happen if I remove, not use this component, or I think I replace this component with another one. So there is the thing you need to answer, you need to consider, you need to have a solution when you do that process. And then we arrange or reverse. And when we change the arrangement of the something, you have this one, put this one first, later you put this one, and then put this one. So when you change the arrangement or reverse arrangement, so you can see what happened. You need to think, if you do that, what will be happen? So that is all scalpel method, checklist you can use in terms of brainstorming session. And then they have another example, the team or top management, subordinate, asked to improve something, the current state of their organization, for example. And then the team brainstorm to develop the idea. They need to think the possible improvement for the organization. The following ideas will respond to the question. So when you in the company, there is the thing might be happens. You can be a part of thing. You need to do a brainstorm to do improvement in terms of management team. So this is example the from the members. What we can the idea we can have when we need to improve our organization. Some they said this one top management should smile. For example, they give reward, incentive, training. So some sorts like that come out from their team. So just write down everything. So from there we need to do the what you call it, the grouping of the idea for the commons area using affinity diagram, for example. So for example, in this one, top management responsibility. So based on top management only, we need to segregate all from the top management tasks or related to them. So we need to categorize in the one category. Environment, for example, we need to categorize one. So from here, we just write down everything, and then we need to grouping and segregate in terms of group. So the group itself, we need to find out or think when we see this one. When we see this one, we can see, oh, this one top management, top management, top management. So we can do as a grouping on that type into the same categories, same part. And then reward, for example, training, reward. So there is others category. So this idea we can use as a to group in the common, and then we can see the information to help the team a lot. This is also aid to the team to determine the area of the particular interest for more focus, more research. So we can see from this group, we can find out which one we need to focus more. So for top management, I think in this group is more focus need to be. So, and then we can use also list reduction like multi-vaulting. So multi-vaulting also you can use in your group brainstorm to make a score. For example, you have several members in the group, so you can use a vote from your group to find out in the, for example, issue top management should be friendly, for example. So voting, 3 staff, the voting, and you have mark here 1 to 5, for example. So staff number 1 give how many, staff number 2. There is marking on the multi-voting, and then you make a summaries on the total of the mark given on these particular issues. So from there you can see, wow, top management should be friendly is the highest. The give incentives. So this one need to focus more. So this is how we use a multi-vaulting as tools to what we call it to find from the brainstorm to have a list reduction from there. So okay, this one maybe number 2 we can ignore or can take this one as a letter subject. We not focus in that time. What we need to focus this one A, D, and C first, for example. That is how we work. And then after we put a ranking, so A, B, C, incentive, good infrastructure and management by what about? This one is a good one. So we put a ranking based on this one. As a result, the team form a tentative impression that to improve the performance of the staff and to see the management to interact more with the staff by giving the incentive, for example, could evaluate their performance. So this one is good. What I call it, the improvement activity for improving the job satisfaction in the organization. And then we do after we have idea, define the problem, brainstorm define the problem. We use evaluation, we use synthesis, analysis, optimization, and then we go for evaluation. So in the evaluation stage, measuring the design against the specification. We need to measure the design against the specification as established in the problem definition phase. So when we have a specification in the earlier stage, we need to measure them. Is it our prototype, our drawing satisfy their spec given earlier? We need to do testing to evaluate by using a prototype as a model to see the performance, to see their quality, reliability for other criteria. And then after that, if we not satisfied, we need to do a synthesis, analysis, and optimization again and redesign again. But if we are satisfied the evaluation, our test, we can go for presentation. This is what we explained last in the previous topic in the computer integrated manufacturing. We can use all this data for manufacturing process or presentation. So the data is very important. When we use this one, we can create the design database. So very useful. Then this one need to us to use that data for manufacturing, to plan the process of the manufacturing. So if we have a process planning, so later on we continue with the topic for the process planning. In the process planning, we need to think about process design and operation design. So we use this database, what we produce in the design stage, inside the process planning. So this is the design process, but yet in the last class, I already explained to you how to use the computer inside this process. So when synthesis, we can use a geometry modeling for synthesis. So why we use computer? Because this software can make more faster process for this one, for synthesis, because synthesis always take a long time, take time to do. For example, analysis and optimization also, we replace with engineering analysis. We have using finite element analysis, for example, finite element modeling, dynamic modeling. Inside engineering analysis, they have several tools. So we can use these computer tools to help our analysis and optimization become faster, become more accurate. And then we use evaluation, design, review, and evaluation they call inside the computer-aided design, design review and evolution. We use this tool to do a faster evolution. We can use also virtual prototyping. Instead of we fabricate the prototyping, we can use a virtual prototyping using the computer. And then we have a presentation. We call it automated drafting. So normal drafting maybe take long time. The accuracy also not so good like as a automatic drawing. So we can use more faster drawing data can and then more accurate with the automatic drafting. So this is how computer coming, and then we use this computer element inside our design process. So this one I already explained last class. Perhaps you get more understanding this time, because this is like to repeat again what we learn inside the design process. But what I want to say here is the process for the product planning is very important to know about the decision when to take for the introduction, when to in the product cycle, when to take the decline decision to introduce the new product. So there is all we need to know, and then later on we use this information for the design process. We have a process planning for the process design and operation design. So I think that's all for our class today. If you have any question, you can ask before we adjourn our class. So not limited only to this class, this one. You can ask if you have. Everything okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, Chong. So I think I will have another session later on in GDP. So in GDP also quite related to this one, because I will explain for the design engineering design specification, because in the design we need to do a specification. So I will repeat but more detail with the for the example for the engineering specification, engineering design specific for the specification design. So I hope in that class also you take opportunity to learn, because that one also related to this manufacturing engineering actually, but I simplified that topic for GDP. So I hope you all can join that class for GDP, and then we have several discussion on that. So if no question, I just adjourn our class today, and then I will give you the new link for the GDP later on, because we start at 10. Is it okay for at 10, or you can start earlier? You prefer which one?
10.
10, all right, you can go makan first, breakfast. All right, thank you very much. See you at 10.
Thank you, sir. See you
Okay.
later.
Thank
See you
you, sir.
later. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.